Hello, welcome to RCR Wireless News. Big data has been a big theme to carriers, and here I have with me Rob Rich from TM Forum, and we will talk about how big data is affecting carriers around the world. So Rob, thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure, Roberta.
So how carriers have addressed big data?
Well, I think actually carriers have addressed big data for a number of years. There's always been a lot of data in the communications industry. The network generates it, the customers generate it, everyone does. The issue is trying to take all of this data from all of these different sources and make sense of it to try to get some business value from it. That is the real trick. It's not about the technology, it's about getting business value from the data.
Because carriers have a large number of, huge data information about their customers, their networks. Have them know how to use it or how to take advantage of all this data?
I think certainly not all this data. So I think they have really struggled with this also because many of them have multiple locations, multiple distributors, multiple geographies, right? I think they struggle to integrate this data across all of the functions and across all of the different businesses. So maybe they have different voice data, maybe they have different data for their data services, maybe for video, if they're doing video, they have different things. And they are trying to pull all this together, for example, to get a single view of the customer, right? Or to get a single view of the network, both wired and wireless, since they are or video, since they are interconnected. These are very tough problems.
And what stage are them?
Well, it really depends on the service provider, but I think it's some are very sophisticated, but I think it's still relatively early, especially for the integration of data across all of the services. If we're trying to look at a customer, say, get a 360 view of the customer.
Have been some big changes, over the past 5 years to help carriers, telecom operators to deal with big data?
Yes, from a technological perspective, there have been huge changes. The first one is really in-memory databases, all right, which are much faster than disk or storage-based databases. The second one really is information appliances, so there are specialized kinds of computers that do just information management, not transaction processing. And the third thing is what we call column-oriented databases, which are really optimized more for inquiry and reporting than they are for transaction capture, like historical computing.
And what can we expect for next 2 years?
Well, I think we can expect a lot of things, but I think probably the biggest trend coming now is integrating external data, so information out on the web, with the internal data that they have. So, for example, how do you take your internal data, like the data that you have from dealing with your customers, and combine that with their social network traffic, their social media traffic, to get a better understanding of not only who they are and what they're using, but how they feel about you and what they're telling their friends about you. Okay.
This is a very sophisticated stage, right?
Yes, it's a really difficult problem to solve. There's no question about that, and they're just really getting started on this. And there are two levels of this really with social media. One is just reacting to what people are saying about you in Twitter or Facebook or something like that. And that's one level of big data. Then the next level is trying to look across all of the things that they are telling you and say, okay, how can I improve my operation? What are the biggest problems from the customer perspective in what they're saying about me? And how can I improve the way that I interact with them, or how I offer them services, or how I support them when they have problems, things like that. So there are really a lot of big goals here, and it's very complicated, I think. But those are the kinds of issues that they will struggle with, I think, in the future.
Thank you, Robert.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's very nice of you, Roberta. Cheers.
Follow us at rcrwireless.com.